What is a fundraising funnel? Fundraising is not just about storytelling, it's about process. A fundraising funnel is your structured pipeline of potential investors organized by stage, from research to close. The funnel has three parts: top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel is prospecting and research, the middle of the funnel is conversations and follow up, and the bottom of the funnel is term sheet stage and committed investors. Let's talk about top of the funnel. It is mainly about the 100 to 150 potential investors based on geography, stage, and thesis fit. Use tools like Signal, Crunchbase, and Signal for more research. And segment your investors. Tier 1 is the dream funds, Tier 2 is likely fits, and Tier 3 is long shots. This brings us to the middle of the funnel. So when you're talking about middle of the funnel, it's about tracking all the investor conversations, the cold emails, the warm intros, tracking responses, the meetings booked, and the follow-ups, and finally using a CRM, for example, an Airtable or a Notion, to make sure that you have an overview of the entire process. And this brings us to the bottom of the funnel, which is basically the investors that are showing interest. This is about the term sheet discussions, the verbal commitments, the reference checks, and the legal and data room access. One of the things that you'll have to learn as a founder who's raising capital is about creating urgency, because that is one thing that helps in closing the rounds in a tight window to avoid drift. And this brings us to the metrics that matter. Your fundraising funnel needs metrics just like your sales funnel. And here's what you can watch out for: conversion percentage from warm intros to meetings, conversion percentage from meetings to term sheets, and then the length of the fundraise from start to close. These metrics help you troubleshoot and remove bottlenecks. For example, if your intros are not converting, maybe your story isn't landing and you need to go back to the drawing table and do your pitch deck all over again and find a narrative that works for your particular startup and the investors that you are targeting. Let's move to a couple of common mistakes that most of the founders make and you need to avoid. Most founders trip by treating fundraising as one-off chats. Here's what you need to avoid. First and foremost, not having a system or a tracker that you follow regularly leads to a lot of fall through. Secondly, don't try to chase every investor. Chase only the investors who have a thesis fit with your particular startup. Thirdly, waiting for a lead before running through the entire process. And fourthly, spreading the raise over months, wherein it signals to the investors that there is no urgency on your part. You need to have a tight deadline defined for your fundraising. So when you're talking about fundraising, you need to run it like a campaign. Batch your outreach, track everything, follow up, and close fast.